Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Oh, Deanne gave me this morning, and this is really good news. There's a tasty way to enjoy whole grains and leafy greens. Know what it is? Feed them to a cow, and they'll turn into a delicious, satisfying steak. Amen. Good morning. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot. Come on, Patriots. Call in with that Pledge of Allegiance on this Wednesday, October 2. And a good morning to you and yours. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell, and of course, our major sponsor we want to give a great big shout out to and a thank you, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big fall tire sale going on right now. And don't forget some of our fantastic advertisers, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you, and they will. They're helping me. Along with Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Heyburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. And right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Good morning, older friend. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I appreciate that, Short Pants. Thank you very much.
Can you give me about 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Zeb. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, Doug, thank you. You and your lovely wife, good friends, great friends. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you, and I appreciate the kind thoughts. All right, that he's gone. All right. Hey, thank you very much. And right now, time for the weather brought to you by K&R Rental. And they're located at 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn, right there, smack dab on the Burley-Paul Highway. You cannot miss it. And what are you bringing in here, Deanne? Zucchini bread? Oh my gosh, that's not zucchini bread. That's a football. Thank you. I'll talk about that a little later on. Wrap that up, save it, keep it warm. I'll be back. K&R Rental brings us the weather at 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn on the Burley-Paul Highway for all the best of tools and equipment you need to finish any project. Get a hold of Roger and the crew today at 678-3122. They can help you with the long and short-term rentals of the tools and equipment you need. Right now, here's Gina with the equipment, with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday, and we are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. High of 56 tonight, nice and clear, going to be cooler, low of 29. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 63 with an overnight low of 34. By Friday, going to be cooler, more clouds moving into the valley. High of 57 with an overnight low of 30. Then by Saturday, looks like sunny skies and 80. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, my. Not too bad. I'll tell you what, this storm front cleaning out and leaving us, and maybe we're going to have some warmer temperatures. Weather brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Like I said, Roger and the crew get there early in the morning to better serve you. All you need to do, and if you got questions about what kind of tools and equipment you need, call them, 678-3122, K&R Rental. Wow. Oh, I want to mention this real quick, and tomorrow is very important, and nobody Nobody, no school administrator, nobody can tell you you can't do this. Tomorrow is the annual Bring Your Bible to School Day, October 3rd. And yes, you can. No one can tell you that you have to leave it in your locker, you have to put it away, you can't bring it into school. No. Yes, you can. And if it comes right down to it, the law is on your side. Exercise your rights. Take your Bible to School Day tomorrow, October 3rd. Thank you very much. I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, I'm going to be right there, I promise. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And they also get there really early in the morning at about 7:30. Open the doors, stay open till 5 o'clock Monday through Friday. All your heating, cooling, and electrical needs, not brag, that's a fact. And they've got all the experience, all the expertise, and they've been in business over 6 decades, darn near 7 decades. Wow. Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good morning, Zeb. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I know you've never heard it from me before, but I thought I'd come and say it one more time.
You know, I got to tell everybody that you called me at 10 minutes after 5 this morning, and I respect that because I get up at 4, and I was in my office working, and Jerry called me and wished me a happy birthday. Jerry Voss, one of my very, very best friends. God bless you, man, and thank you for all your kind thoughts.
You bet, and you have a wonderful birthday. And don't forget, Deanne wants to go out for a good dinner.
Okay.
Buy her a nice steak.
I will, my friend. Thank you very much, Jerry. I appreciate you. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by.
Eat them greens.
I will, Jerry. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You bet.
Oh, my. Hey, speaking of good food, I know where we're going to go if we go out tonight at all. I'm old, and sometimes it's hard for me to just leave the back door. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. Oh, anytime, all the time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and, of course, all the delicious desserts served by people that really are friendly and caring about you enjoying your meal at America's Diner. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and they are great people, and that's, of course, Denny's Restaurant. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Happy birthday, Zeb.
Well, Lorna, thank you. God bless you. You've been such a dear friend to Deanne and I for so many years. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thanks for all you do, and you just have a great day, and you have an awesome eater.
You know what I think I'm going to do today, Lorna? I think I'm just going to absolutely do nothing. Thank you. Thanks for your call, Lorna. God bless you. Thank you so much. What a nice lady, and she's been a part of our lunch bunch for a long, long time. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. I want to also mention about Ark Animal Hospital. Oh, they take care of all the little creatures and the big creatures, and they want to make sure all your animals are healthy and stay that way. I urge you, yes I do, to get a hold of them today. If you have any problems with itty-bitty kitty cats or puppy dogs, dairy cattle, whatever, Dr. Bill and the crew at Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. And make sure, please, that you have all your vaccinations done for the fall. Absolutely. These people really care. And I urge you to call the number 678-1177, Ark Animal Hospital in Heyburn, where they do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. One of our dear friends, Sharon Hardy Mills, I tried to call her earlier this morning. I finally got a hold of her. And I said, how are you, Sharon? And she said, not good. I'm sitting on the side of the road. The transmission went out of her vehicle. And so if you see Sharon Hardy Mills with their thumb up in the air trying to get to her office, please pick her up. Good luck, Sharon. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, happy birthday, Mr. Bell.
Well, hello, Donna.
My, you sound a little bit older today for some reason.
May I say this because you're such a dear friend? Don't rub it in.
I hope you have a wonderful day, my friend. You deserve it.
Well, that's really nice of you, and I'm really surprised that you're talking in a full voice because you have to whisper because George is still in bed.
Actually, he just barely made it up, so...
Really? Well, take him.
It shocks me, too.
Take him a cup of coffee and guide him carefully, because he's old, to the reclining lounge chair and just let him enjoy the morning.
Okay, if I have to.
Okay, God bless you. Thank you so much.
You bet you have a good day.
All right, take care. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, all teamed up to help you with the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox that features remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. That's right. Contact Ramsey Heating and Electric today. Along with Lennox, they're offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new home comfort system. Ho, ho, ho. Stay comfy. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Caller, good morning. How are you?
Doing great. Happy birthday to a very good friend with a special family. I enjoy Zeb's Lunch Bunch and the great food, great friends. I want you to have a very special day.
Eddie, you and your lovely wife are really, really dear friends, and I thoroughly, and I mean this, thoroughly enjoy joking and jesting with you, and God bless you, man. Thank you for all your kind remarks.
And thank you, and we will see you again.
I hope so, my dear friend. Take care of yourself. Thank you. That was really nice. Thank you. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody about Mad River Laser. Do you know about Mad River Laser? Let me tell you that this is the place. When I need baseball caps made up with my logo or T-shirts or sweatshirts or jackets or whatever the case might be, this is the place. Let me tell you, Mad River Laser at 502 East Street in Rupert, and they've been proudly voted Best Unique Gift Shop 3 years running. Hey, I'll tell you, every first Saturday of every month from now on, they're going to have a special sale. So this coming Saturday, October 5th, they're going to have the gift shop sale. They're going to have all the fall decor marked down, and that includes their Halloween and Thanksgiving home decor. You'd better get in there today and visit with them. Or better yet, Saturday, sale day at, of course, Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Nice folks. Nicole and the crew, stop in and see them, please. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, happy birthday, Zeb. I'll tell you, when you get to be our age, I'm putting myself in the same category where you're at. Every year is a blessing because there's some people just don't make it this far and have major health issues and so forth. But I wanted to comment about the topic you brought up about the Bible. I'm not sure which laws on the books allows to bring your Bible to school. It must be a state law because the federal government, I just thought, would prevent that.
No, absolutely not. It is not prevented by the federal government. There is no law. I've looked everything up. I've talked to the group that's organizing this Take Your Bible to School Day, Focus on the Family. They're well known all over the United States, and I can guarantee you no one will get in trouble anywhere across the United States today with any superintendent that knows what's going on. It is not illegal whatsoever.
Well, the Supreme Court in 1962 and 3, the Earl Warren Supreme Court, basically banned prayer and Bible reading, and so this is why I'm not sure where this law comes from.
No, I know for a fact. I've got everything taken. I'll tell you what, here's the deal, Adrian. You can go to Bring Your Bible to School Day, October 3rd, and you will find out that there is no one that can stop anyone from taking their Bible to school. Absolutely not. And look it up on the website, and if there's any challenges, believe me, those that challenge this are going to end up, like they said in the old TV show, you're going to end up in a heap of trouble.
Well, I'll tell you, it's so sad what's happened to education.
I tell you, now, the liberals, socialists, Marxists, communists have taken over our education system. Common Core is horrible stuff, and they're teaching 5 basic false philosophies: Marx, Dewey, Darwin, Freud, and Keynes economics. I mean, it's just, this is what's being taught in school. It's coming right into, they have no, the students, I've looked at some of these textbooks. I mean, they have no comprehension of what made this the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Absolutely.
With our constitutional republic. And it's just sad that our students are now being, I think, abused by, being used as pawns in this global warming hoax, and going to Boise to protest something that doesn't exist. Without carbon dioxide, we don't breathe and we don't eat.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Adrian, I've got a ton of calls backlogged right now, and I appreciate your kind sentiments on my birthday. Thank you, and believe me, bring your Bible to school day. Everything is A-OK and legal, and students, don't hesitate. Thanks, Adrian. Got to talk to you later. Appreciate it.
We certainly need to be praying for our country and President Trump and Pence and all those that are trying to bring sanity back to this country.
Amen. Thank you very much. Wheels, if you could turn the callers up just a little bit on the volume control, it would help me just a little bit if you would. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody that every Monday on this program at exactly 8:30, or fairly close, depending on where I am, we give away a dozen cookies to Sophie's Chatterbox. Oh, what a bakery. Oh, what a restaurant at 530 East Street in Rupert. You better stop over and see them. Enjoy the great food. Enjoy the bakery. Great cookies every Monday if you answer the trivia contest. Compliments of Sophie's Chatterbox, and we really, really appreciate them. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning. Happy birthday, Zeb. And the Burley Senior Center today, we're going to have chicken Alfredo, veggies, salad, and I hope we have some of that peach pie left over we had yesterday. It was yummy.
Oh, Joe, do you realize you just mentioned my very favorite, ultimate, all-time love peach pie?
Now, for only $5, you can have all you can eat at the Senior Center.
Well,
everybody.
Joe, I appreciate you and your kind thoughts every day. Thank you. Take care of yourself, and we'll send everybody over to the Senior Center on Overland. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
You bet. Peach pie. Oh, my grandma got me hooked on peach pie years and years ago with just maybe a little bitty scoop of vanilla ice cream on top. Oh, knock your socks off delicious. Caller, I'll be right there. Again, I want to remind everybody about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, all teamed up to help you with your home comfort. Absolutely. Don't forget to get a hold of Ramsey's today and check on the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox that features remote control access. Absolutely. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. They're offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new home comfort system. Go to the telephone and call them at 678-0459 or visit ramseysonline.com. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. This is Anna Perkins, and Sam and I just wanted to wish you a wonderful happy birthday.
Well, that is so nice of you. Thank you very, very much. And I don't feel any older. As a matter of fact, I'm feeling pretty good this morning, but I'm going to keep the thought of how many years out of my mind today. Thank you.
You have a great day.
God bless you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, that was nice.
Bye-bye.
That was very, very nice. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Happy birthday this morning, Mr. Bell.
You're out of bed.
Yes, I am. When we get our age, we thank the Lord that we can get vertical every day.
Absolutely. And you, of course, your lovely wife called earlier. And thank you. And by the way, I'm just going to mention names. George and Donna Mass, my dear, dear friends, and they've been such a great tribute and asset to the community of Rupert and all the different projects and everything. George, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the day.
Have a good day. birthday, sir.
I will, buddy. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it. All right. Caller, I'll be right there. There is going to be, I'm swamped with a lot of good words here this morning, so everybody bear with me. This is going to be a ripping good sale. A ripping good sale. Bennett Boys Auction Service going to have the R.E. and Mildred Ledbetter Estate Auction. It's going to be coming up this Saturday, October 5th, 10:30 at starting time, located in Kimberly, Idaho at 313 Main Street North. You can't miss it. Lunch by the Cook Shack. And I know this family. I know how involved they were in woodworking and everything. They've got the best of wood shop equipment, shop tools, shop supplies, machine shop items, lawn and garden items, cars, pickups, sporting items, all of this and a lot more. This is going to be a big, big sale put on by the Bennett Boys Auction Service this Saturday, October 5th, right there in Kimberly at 313 Main Street North. Don't miss it. The Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hi, Zeb. You're not old yet. I'm 79, so you got a ways to go. I have to put my 2 cents in. Today is such a special day. It's birthday time for you. I'd really like to spend this time with you. Zippity-yay and hidey-ho. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll sing a song that we all know. Happy birthday to you.
You know something? I don't know if anybody's ever mentioned this to you, but you have a very, very nice, soft, pleasing voice, and wow, thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a good day, Zeb.
I will, and God bless you for all your calls. I appreciate it. Boy, she could sing. She could sing. That's really good. A cappella? Wow, I'm impressed. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. And she did a great, great job. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts. I mean, they've got the big dudes to get all the equipment that you need. That's right, for all the jobs, lifting, digging, pushing, carrying, grading, leveling, everything. They've got the Doosan wheel loaders and the excavators, and they've got all the Bobcats. They've got literally all the equipment you need to finish the job. Absolutely. Barry Equipment and Rental, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, and the Nampa location. Great financing programs to buy, great lease rental programs. You check it out today. Barry Equipment and Rental. Really good people to work with. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, finally. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. It really is. And we want to wish you a happy, happy birthday. And here's Nancy.
Well, thank you, Keith. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Well, this is the wonderful rhubarb cake and, of course, sugar cookie queen. Good morning, and thank you for being so kind, Nancy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're sure welcome, and God bless you with many, many more birthdays.
I would like to think that's possible and true. I appreciate your comments, and you are such dear listeners. Thank you, and right back at you. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. That was really nice. I mean, I got to stop right here before I take this next call. And I think Deanne would absolutely chime in and say the same thing. On this show, I try to be as honest and forthright and straightforward on any and all issues. And I know I take a risk of offending a lot of people that don't agree with me, but I have the best audience and the smartest and most educated audience, and they know and understand what's going on. And so therefore, all these kind comments, they really, really touch my heart, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. Happy birthday from Marion.
Well, thank
you. Zeb.
Oh, Mary, I tell you, it's good to hear your voice on the radio. Thank you.
Remember one thing, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
Old age is what you make of it. You can make it feel young, or you can make it feel old.
You know something?
Mary and I just do what we can to make it feel young.
You know, Tony, I got to tell you something. You really are my idol, and I'll tell you why. Because you're so spry, you're so much in good shape. If it wouldn't be rude, and I can ask this, would you mind telling the audience how old you are?
Well, Mary and I will soon be 90.
I've got to tell you that you have no idea the amount of respect that Deanna and I have for both of you, and you're just absolutely a rejuvenation for Deanna and I every time we talk to you. God bless you, and thank you for your kind thoughts.
Never give in and never give up until the lights go out.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Give Mary a big kiss for me, please.
I will.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
I love that. Never give in, never give up. And that's really, really the truth. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I absolutely was a little hesitant to put this story on the air this morning, but I feel like it shows and amplifies the complete lunacy that is going on with political correctness and the absolutely insane left. Now, for those of you that might be offended by this story, it is a story about a fact of life and equipment, if you will, for the facts of life. Let me explain. There is a great big building in Portland, Oregon, that is being remodeled. It is costing the taxpayers $195 million to remodel this building. But they are not, listen to this carefully, they are not going to put any men's urinals in the bathrooms because it promotes masculinity. You got to absorb that. I know. Some of you might be saying, what in the world are you talking about? This completely political correct stupidity. Honestly, I have the story right here in my hand. There will be no urinals in any restroom in the building. And I just absolutely heard this on the news early this morning. And then I had Deanne, my lovely bride, go ahead and pull this story off the web service this morning so we could verify everything. And here's what the Chief Administrative Officer, Tom Reinhart, wrote to the employees. I am convinced that this is the right way to ensure success as your employer. Remove arbitrary barriers in our community and provide leadership that is reflective of our shared values. You can't make this stuff up. I could sit all day, all night, till the wee hours of the morning and never dream up that there would be someone or some group of someone's dumb enough to come up with this idea to ban urinals in a building because it promotes masculinity. Caller, help me, please. Good morning.
Well, I got the perfect answer. Just take out all the toilets and all the urinals and everything, and you just have to aim for the hole and then leave them off there if you spill.
You know, I was skeptical about starting this subject, and now that we're into it, I'm even more skeptical. Have you ever honestly heard anything so ridiculously stupid that should be thrown out and in the garbage and in the trash compactor?
Let's spend good taxpayers' money because one person's got a gripe or two, you know.
Well, it doesn't even make any difference to me if there's any gripes. I have no call to go against nature. I have no call to go against biology. There are two genders. That's all there are, male and female, and there should not be a mix bowl of like mixing up a batch of cookies to infiltrate and try to combine everybody to be the same. That is complete lunacy and totally against any common decency whatsoever.
Yeah, you got that right.
And your analogy probably is what it's coming to.
Just don't forget to put the mop there, because I don't want to clean up the person before me, man.
God bless you for your call. Thank you so much.
Yeah, God bless and happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to this is fitting. This is a fitting commercial for this story. Pardon me. Dino Septic Service. Yes, septic tank pumping and liquid waste removal. Oh, I can't make this up. Here we go. My birthday just went right down. Anyway, Dino Septic Service, I'll guarantee you, they have recently expanded their business to better serve more people. And I'm talking the best of service. They've worked for us, and they do a phenomenal job. Fast, fair, friendly service. All you need to do is call them at 436-6526 or 678-1638. And, of course, backhoe services, water and sewer lines installed, all of this and so much more. They really care, and they really do a good job. Dino Septic Service. Give them a call, and remember, they'll pull in the yard with the big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir.
My friend.
Hey, I think they just ought to get rid of bathrooms in the building, just put outhouses out there. Yeah.
Doug, when I heard this, I absolutely thought it was some kind of a joke. But the city of Portland has redesigned all the bathrooms to be gender neutral. This is insanity.
It is. It really is. But now, my next question is, what about those females who identify as a male and want to use the urinal? Why don't they just put urinals in both bathrooms and let it be that way? That way, however you identify, you can use it properly.
No, I think it's time to say absolutely not. And somebody that has any backbone at all on any and all city councils should say, this is ludicrous. There are two genders. We're not going to cater to the filth and the sleaze in our society. We're not going to cater to people that think that they're gender fluid to where they can be this one day, that the next day, be a giraffe on the third day, or be a Shetland pony on the fourth day. I'm sick of this, and it's got to stop.
It does. It does. I was being sarcastic there. But what really gets me, too, was the price tag to remodel this building.
Oh, my.
I mean, what are they going to build? What are they going to use for material? I mean, it is our taxpayer dollars that they are wasting. Just like the city of Hebron here on their new shop. They wanted solid mahogany doors in the office in this shop.
Yeah.
And it's taxpayer dollars. I went down and asked city council. I said, is this true? Oh, no, it's veneer. I says, why even have veneer? What is wrong with a metal door? I mean, it is not your money. If it was your money, would you put solid mahogany doors in your house?
Yeah, but you see, there's the point right there that everybody needs to make to politicians and people that spend our tax dollars. That's not your money. That's our money. And we have every right to speak up, just like you did, and I have the utmost respect for you, to tell them, paint them into a corner and say, listen, if this is going to cost this much, why not get something that's as durable or as good, much cheaper? That's our money, and that's how we want it spent.
Right. They need to be frugal with it. But you look at, there's a Prager University video out there on third-party spending. If you buy something for yourself, you're frugal, you shop for the best value. But if somebody gives you some money and says, go buy this, you're not near as frugal. But when they say go buy a gift for a party, give you some money, and you go buy a gift that someone else is going to receive, it doesn't matter how much you spend on it, and you don't care what you buy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's politicians right there. It's not their money, and they don't care how much they spend. We need to start telling them, say, hey, what you spend over the going market price comes out of your pocket.
Absolutely. Doug, I just, like I said, I hesitated to even put this story on the air, but it's a story that was on the national network early this morning. And after pulling more information about this story and reading it, one of the statements that was made by the city council on this said, gender and bathroom use has been a big deal when it comes to those who are transgender or gender fluid. And you know what my response to that is? Who cares? This is not normal. It's not nature. And I'm sick and tired of spending extra money to discriminate against men and just have this gender fluidity take over everything. This is absolutely insanity.
It is. And I think we should poll those 97% of scientists that say global warming is true.
Yeah.
And ask them, is how many genders are there? And if they can't give the right answer, which everybody knows the right answer, then we shouldn't trust them on the global warming.
Well, and by the way, please do not make the mistake that Jim Jones and others have tried to perpetrate on us in their op-eds in the paper. 97% of the scientists that the left, organized. It's not the entirety of the science network across the world.
That's a fact. That is very true. It's 97% of the scientists that the government gives money to for research.
And the ones that are working specifically for the cause of promoting global warming. And so when they come out with a statement, 97% of the scientists, they are absolute, in plain simple English, like Jim Jones' op-ed in the paper, they're lying.
Exactly. Well, most politicians lie when their lips are moving, but I think Adam Schiff even lies in his dreams.
Oh my goodness. He's got a set of eyes that look like a slot machine that won't stop in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Who was that serial killer in California in the 70s? Oh shoot, I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. He had the big buggy eyes.
Oh yeah.
They killed that one pregnant gal.
Yeah, it was pathetic.
Yeah, but that you look at his eyes and you look at Schiff's eyes.
Well, my wife and I find that to be very distasteful, especially during the supper hour, to turn on the news and see little Adam, pencil neck, gook eyes Schiff up there. I have nothing good to say about this man because all he is a muckraker. He's a muckraker.
Yeah, and who was it stated that where Nancy Pelosi put him in charge of the impeachment proceeding against Trump is like putting Strzok in charge of the investigation of the Russian collusion.
I gotta go, but I appreciate your kind thoughts as always, and give us your tagline quickly.
Everybody, let's take care of our senior centers. In fact, I challenge everybody to go have lunch one time at a senior center, and you will be highly enlightened, and you'll walk away with a happy heart.
There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. I'm telling you, folks, this story, I'm going to save this story, and I'm going to try to get some people on from Portland next week on the program. Excuse me. This just goes to prove the insanity that's going on in our world today. We are catering and costing us, the taxpayers, much buku dollars, if you will, to cater to them, and everybody else has to suffer. And quite frankly, I've had it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, I wished I had a urinal in my bathroom because my aim is not as good as it used to be.
We're getting way too personal on this, Keith.
What's that?
I say we're getting too personal on this. Go ahead and make your point.
Okay, at one time, I seen a sign in a men's restroom that said, "Our aim is to keep this restroom clean. Your aim would help."
Well, it's not so much even being flippant or even jocular about this morning, because it's not a funny story at all. It just shows the incompetency of city leadership in the city of Portland, and it's going to happen elsewhere, where they cater to people that absolutely should not be catered to. There shouldn't be any catering to less than 1% of our population that's going to hurt the 99 9/10 of the other part of the population.
Yeah, and could you imagine what these restrooms are going to look like?
Oh, don't even go there.
Do this?
They're going to look like JFK Airport in New York, and you don't want to know what that is. Got to run, Keith. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Caller, I'll tell you what, if you could please stay on the line for 60 seconds, I've got to get this weather forecast in. I can't be late, so stay with me. I want to remind everybody about Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they're right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room. And believe me, it's a perfect time of the year to focus on your hearing health in preparation for the coming holiday season and spending more time with those you love. Have a hearing screening today. Let them help you at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Number to call 312-0957. And here is Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday, and we are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. High of 56 tonight, nice and clear, going to be cooler, low of 29. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 63 with an overnight low of 34. By Friday, going to be cooler, more clouds moving into the valley. High of 57 with an overnight low of 30. Then by Saturday, looks like sunny skies and 80. That's a look at your weather forecast for 7th Rain.
Oh, Gina, thank you. Thank you very much. And the number to call, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and really check out an appointment for a hearing screening, 312-0957. The best, Mount Harrison Audiology. Caller, thank you for your patience. Good morning. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. Wheels, are they there?
Tony was, but his phone must have gave out again.
Oh, the phone died. Okay, calls welcome, 436-2244. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
Well, me and the wife heard that it was your birthday.
Yes, and I want to compliment you and your wife for all the help that you give to the Lunch Bunch. I'm talking about Jimmy and Frida Flowers. And Jimmy sent me a whole list of things regarding birthdays, and here's my favorite. Jimmy, I got to share this with you on the air because I got to laughing so hard I about fell off the chair this morning. The one with the lady with the glasses on the end of her nose, and she says, I don't want to say I'm old and worn out, but I make sure that I'm nowhere near the curb on trash day. Well, you and Frida are special people, and I really, really appreciate your comments.
Okay, well, we wanted to be sure we got able to wish you a happy birthday.
Well, God bless you, my dear friends, and thank you for all you've done to help Deanna and I. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's been our pleasure, buddy.
All right, well, you take care. There's the man that has all the car knowledge in the world. I tell you what, I really appreciate Jimmy and his lovely wife, Frida. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Hoss, this is the Chief.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I had a couple gripes this morning.
Uh-oh.
Is it Gripe Wednesday?
Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, we just come back from the West Coast on a little vacation, and Idaho seems to be pretty good about disabled and handicapped access. Well, when you get in another state, it's completely different. I'm a little bit slow with my cane, and my wife's on a walker, and we would go somewhere, and I'd try to help her through the door with the walker, and it'd be too narrow, or there'd be steps, or they'd say, "Where are you going? You don't have a ticket." And I said, "Hey, I'm trying to help her get through the door here." And then we'd gas up somewhere, and I was clear across the bay, and I paid the prepaid, and then I'd get back over there, and the pump's not changing, the pump's not on. So I walk back over, and I wave at the guy, and he waves back, and then I walk all the way back across the bay again, and the pump's not on. So I go in there and I say, "Hey, what's the deal?" And he says, "Well, it's timing out." And I says, "It's timing out? Hey, it takes me a while to get over there. I'm old."
You know, I can have a lot of sympathy and I have a lot of empathy for what you're saying. You know, due to the fact that I'm almost out of time this morning, I'm going to ask you a favor, Chief. I want you to call back like next Monday or so in the first hour, and we'll talk about elderly and disability problems. And I honestly think that there could be some things done to alleviate some of these problems. But I appreciate you bringing it up because I think it'd be good for everybody to kind of conjure up some thoughts on this over the next couple of days and present them on the program. I think there's not enough being done for those people that have physical challenges or the elderly, which has turned into a self-serve world, and I'll do all I can to highlight that. How's that?
Yeah, and it's kind of, I know you're wanting to go, but it's kind of like the people's attitude, too. You know, I mean, nobody wants to help you. Nobody wants to be nice, and, you know, it's all, I don't know.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. I agree with you.
You have a good birthday.
Hey, buddy, I'm going to pursue this. And, Chief, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hello, Zeb. How are you doing?
Well, not too bad, thank you.
On behalf of my wife, myself, and my daughter and my granddaughter, happy birthday.
I just figured out who this is, and no one, and I mean this sincerely, I'm not trying to be facetious, no one has captured the essence of what we talk about on this program every day than you, Mr. Paul Peterson, with all your cartoons that I save, I treasure, and I go through, and they will be a lasting keepsake for me, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, just before we go, I called Smokey the Bear in the fire department, told him to watch, so when your wife lights up those candles, you got some help there.
I give you a compliment, and then you go and tear my bridge down. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Paul. God bless you, man. Thanks.
Bye.
That man is a tremendous cartoonist and captures a lot of the topics and subjects we talk about on this program and puts them in cartoon form, and he is really, really good. He and his lovely wife, really nice people. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Happy B-Day to you. Happy B-Day to you. Happy B-Day, happy B-Day, happy B-Day to you.
My biggest concern is, are you still sitting on the side of the road?
Yes, I am.
No.
Waiting.
You know, I'm not laughing at your situation because there is nothing more frustrating, but can we offer through the radio to have somebody pick you up and take you to your final destination point?
No, because somebody has to stay with the pickup.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Where are you, by the way, so we can have food and water and clothing and shelter brought to you?
About a quarter of a mile from my house.
Oh, no.
That close, and yet that far away.
And the transmission decided to go clunk.
Yep, I can put it in gear and I can roll down the road, but not very far.
Well, if you could get to that hill, you'd make it all the way to Declo. You'd be in good shape.
I know. If I'd have been on the top, it would have been great. No.
Oh, well, listen.
You want to know? I'm going to tell everybody something that's absolutely hilarious. We have roadside service, but the roadside service is good for 15 miles. The place where I've got to take the pickup is 19.
Oh, my goodness sakes. You know, Sharon, Deanne and I
had to pay the overage.
The 4 miles overage. Oh, my goodness. We are so appreciative of everything you do and your kind comments for happy birthday and everything. And really, our concern is for you right now being stranded out there with a transmission. I hope all goes well. Please keep us informed.
I will. You have a great day.
Thank you. God bless her. I talked to her early before I went on the air this morning, and she says, I'm not doing so good. My transmission went out of my pickup, and I said, oh, no. So there she is, stranded. Want to remind everybody about our major sponsor, and they are, of course, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I am blessed to have them on this program, and right now they're having a big fall tire sale. You can save up to $152 on a set of 4 select light truck and SUV tires like the TerraMax HT or the Backcountry Touring HT. You know, all the tires, all the tread designs, all the sizes for all the vehicles right there at any one of the 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I urge you to stop in. They've got the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries. And beside going up on the mountain to go hunting, you better make sure you got a good battery. Yeah, you don't want to hear that click, 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 click. You want to make sure that battery is going to turn that engine over. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. We're going to get out of here and make room for the news from CBS. And then here's what's coming up next hour. We've got Dave Bego at 9:06. Then at 9:30, we are expecting Governor Brad Little to call in, and we're going to ask him about various subjects that are really making the news and have no answers as of yet, like Medicaid funding and other things. 10:06, Salvatore Giorgiani is going to be on the phone with us talking about the high price of prescription drugs. And then at 10:32 this morning, Idaho Representative from District 25A, Lori Likely. Got a full plate. News next from CBS. Oh, good morning. A beautiful, beautiful morning outside. Sunshine, blue sky, and absolutely great. Thank you very much. And, of course, Zeb at the Ranch, and we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations with a great big fall tire sale going on right now. Also, some of our wonderful advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And also Greystone Crossing, Independent Senior Living, beautiful place at 1221 21st Street in Heyburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Right now, this good word for Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal.
Oh, Wheels, before I start this ad for Western Waste, give me a little boost on the headset of the feed line, if you could, please. All of a sudden, this hour, it's gone down, it seems like a little bit. Want to remind everybody about Western Waste Services. You can get dumpsters in various sizes, have them drop it off. You fill it up, they'll come and get it. Whether you're cleaning out your basement, your garage, you're cleaning up the house for the fall and the holidays that are upon us, I'm telling you, they do a wonderful job taking care of your garbage. All you need to do is call them at 734-6969. It's true, they're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services. Thank you very much. Want to remind you again about Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, and they are all teamed up to offer you the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox that features remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. Absolutely. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox are offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a brand new home comfort system. Get a hold of Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them on Ramsey'sOnline.com. Final thought here quickly before we go to our guest, and I want to urge you that when there's the passing of a loved one, the whole world turns upside down. A very tumultuous time. And I urge you to call Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert with Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving you. And the number 436-5636. They absolutely want to provide the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort always, and upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. They are there to serve you, and they will. At Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, and Joel Heward also taking care of you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. It's Wednesday, and I want to give a great big thank you before I even introduce him. Sent me a very nice birthday card, and he's been a dear friend for many, many years coming on this program. Dave Bego in Indianapolis, Indiana. How are you?
Happy birthday today, Zeb, and to a man for all seasons. And I'm doing fine, and the weather here is clear skies, and we're going to be 91 degrees today.
And tomorrow, if I interpret the weather forecast correctly, tomorrow it might drop as much as 30 degrees. Is that correct?
Not here.
Oh.
No, we're going to be down, I don't know, in the 70s, I think. And,
I see.
And then maybe the next day, I think we're waiting a couple of days. We need some rain, and we're supposed to get some on Sunday, and I hope it makes it here.
All right. Dave, it's a real treat to have you on the program every week and talk about what's going on politically and financially in this country. I got to ask you, and I don't know any other way to phrase it to you, I think that what we're seeing right now going on in this nation, where they divide between the parties, partisan politics is bigger than the Grand Canyon, I don't think it can ever be healed. Do you think I'm right or wrong?
Well, I'm hoping so, Zeb. I think the American people need to wake up, and I think they're starting to, and even the media in some parts is starting to wake up a little bit that what the far left wants is they want control, which I've talked about and a lot on your programs, and there's actually a couple of articles out yesterday that you know, the impeachment and what they're trying to do with the government and all the other things, it's all about control. And I think people are waking up, and even union members. You know, the UAW has got their strike against GM, but there's a lot of UAW members that are tired of the union bosses and what they're doing and how much it's hurting them during this strike.
When you look at the situation of the Democrats, and I'm really pointing my finger in disdain at the Democrats, they are turning over every rock. They are demanding every conversation, and Wheels, I'm getting feedback here a little bit. They're demanding every conversation be scrutinized. I mean, this is crazy. If you're going to scrutinize every conversation that a president has with every foreign leader around the world, it's going to evolve into a situation where no foreign leader with any common sense would even want to talk to our president.
Well, you know, that's right, but you know, the other side is, I don't know if you saw a couple articles came out this morning on the impeachment process that, you know, Pelosi and the governor from, I think it's West Virginia, they're asking the Democrats to, you know, back off some because they think it's hurting their party and the people out there. And so it's kind of interesting where this thing is going to and coming from, but it's the far left people, the deep state type of people that are really pushing all this stuff because, again, they want to take us down and turn us into a socialistic communist country where they can control us.
I don't know if you have ever heard of or know Dr. Gerard Lameiro. He's an author and outstanding political analyst. And Dr. Lameiro is going through a real severe bout with cancer right now, and he hasn't been able to appear on my program for quite some time. But prior to the last election, he nailed everything. He had a step-by-step political process as to how he thought this was going to happen, how he thought that's going to happen, and he laid it out into the future, and we're seeing exactly what he was talking about the total ruination and fragmentization of the Democratic Party, and that's what's coming.
Yeah, it is, and it's tearing it apart, and it'll be interesting, and I think that's a good thing for conservatives and Trump and that, and I think at the end of the day, you know, I think they can only push this impeachment thing for another 2 or 3 weeks, and it might help them in some ways, but after that, I think as we move into closer to 2020 election, it's going to start tearing them apart even more.
Do you think from your associates, your business friends, and other people in your community and around the Midwest that the Democrats, or let's term it the left, are gaining enough power with the millennials and others, with the lies and innuendos on the media, etc., that this election is definitely in jeopardy?
I don't think so. I think as long as they're shouting this stuff out again, as I said, and that to keep trying to brainwash the millennials and everybody else. But I think as people are stepping back, even the millennials, take a look at it, they're tired of all this stuff that's going on. And as I go out and meet people, and last night I had dinner with a couple friends, and they see it just tearing the Democratic Party apart too.
You know, when you talk about the Democratic Party, and you got to talk about the three, and there are really only three frontrunners right now for the nomination, Biden, and I think his ship is sinking, and then, of course, wild-haired Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, and I just don't see anything right there in those top three that you could combine, put in a mixing bowl, and come up with anything good. I don't see how in the world they are even halfway electable.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And I don't know if you saw this morning, but Sanders is canceling his events because health issues. He's got to have 2 stents put in because he's got artery blockage, and he's not doing well.
Yeah, I don't want to wish ill health on any person, regardless of their politics or whatever. But the man's approach with socialistic/communistic attitudes for this country, it will never work, can't work, and we can't let it work. But on the other side of the coin, Elizabeth Warren coming out with a taxation program which would absolutely be a slap in the face to people that have worked hard all their life to build a business, build a corporation, build employees, etc. This is lunacy to go after them like the Elizabeth Warren, some kind of a Robin Hood, and it's going to take from the wealthy and give to the poor. This is completely wrong.
Yes, it is. And again, as I've mentioned before, the unions are backing a lot of this stuff, and they're putting out, putting all this campaign stuff out there for Warren and Biden and Sanders and that, and so you're going to hear these type of things going on, because again, at the end of the day, what they're trying to do is bring this country down, and this is a coup to take power from our people.
What do you see or hear every day in your office about unions, regardless of whether it's the SEIU or whatever? Are they all coming up with little plans, little scenarios as to how they can dump Trump, or what are you hearing?
And not hearing a whole lot. I think they're trying to be kind of quiet behind the scenes, and they're just trying to get out there and, get people to support them and support the far left program and that, and but like I say, even with these strikes going on with United Auto Workers, and there's some others that have been talking about doing it, the union members, and this is important, this is what helped Trump win, is he got a lot of union members in 2016, is the union members are tired of the political bent of the left and the Democratic Party, and they're tired of their money being used for things that they don't believe in or care for. And I think that's going to help Trump in the long run.
Mm-hmm. We have a caller with a question and a comment. Go ahead, caller, please. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, well, if Jesse Ventura gets in the race, anything's possible. But, seriously, Trump, he might, flip Minnesota, and it hasn't voted Democratic for president since 72. But, Warren, she wants to go after Wall Street, and Zuckerberg attacked her, and I don't know how deep that attack was, but, if she is the nominee and then these big companies don't want her to be the president, I don't see how she ever wins. And then, she's a pretty repulsive person, really. It's terrible. I just don't see how Trump, loses. and I think the writing is on the wall. And this impeachment thing, they're just, like I say, the desperation just seeps from their pores. I'll hang up.
Thank you, Randy. And what about that, Dave? Respond to the caller, please.
I think Randy's got a lot of great points there, and I think we're going to see that as we move ahead. And like I say, I don't think this whole thing with the impeachment and that is going to continue for too much longer, and because I think it's hurting the Democrats more than anything, and I think they're going to back down off of it. And that'll give Trump really a chance then to go out and be the person he is and really speak to what he wants to do for this country. And I think he's going to get the backing of a lot of these people in traditionally blue states, like he said, Minnesota.
I want to tell you about a conversation I had on Monday with a gentleman that I have the utmost respect for back in Washington, D.C. I am not going to drop names because I don't have his permission to use his name, but he mentioned two people that we need to be very wary of. One surprised me, one did not, that might pop up all of a sudden in the next couple of weeks on the Democratic ticket, possibly to go for the nomination, and they are Michelle Obama and, again, Hillary Clinton.
It wouldn't surprise me if either one of those tried to pop up and do that, because, there's a lot of people on the Democratic side, they think a woman running for president has a bigger chance. And, Michelle's she's been in the White House with her husband and that, and of course she's got a lot of bad history behind her on what she did in that, and deleting all of her emails and the things that she was involved in doing, and Hillary, excuse me, and Michelle, was never really a big part of Obama's presidency. So it'll be interesting to see, but I wouldn't be surprised at all, because I think they think that they'll get more votes through one of those two people.
I would say this, and I want to hear your response, that in the next Democratic debate on television, this is just me talking with the summation of what I think is going to happen. Tell me how wrong I am. But with Biden and Bernie and Elizabeth way percentage points ahead of everybody else, it's going to have to be where the sharks are going to try to eat their own that night at that debate. In other words, somebody, whether it's Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, or whomever, they're going to have to go after the front runners and literally try to chop their political heads off. Would you agree?
Well, I'm sure that could happen, and that wouldn't surprise me a bit. And it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing goes. And again, I think behind the scenes, anyways, Zeb, I think who the final candidate will be is going to be controlled by the left and the unions, because they're controlling their campaigns now anyway. Because remember, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago that Sanders and Biden came out and said that all the candidates should let the unions run their campaigns and have the union people out doing the campaign stuff.
When you look at the unions, and nobody, in my opinion, knows more about the scare of the unions than you do, and the underhanded things that they can and will do. Let's just go with a if here. If someone like Elizabeth Warren or even Bernie Sanders or even Joe Biden was elected as president, what are your biggest fears immediately that the unions would try to do in this United States?
Oh, I think the biggest thing that's going to happen is they're going to try and change us into a socialist type of country, and they're going to have them change laws and regulations and everything, and move us towards a situation where they control us, and it's going to bring down the free market society and people's opportunities to be successful in life, and that's not good, because you have people out there that they don't know how to be successful in the free market society. They only know how to be successful by going out and doing things to gain control over people and dictate what people are going to do. And that's sad.
Let me ask you one final thought on politics this morning, and I'm really pointing my finger at the Republican Party on this. Here we have the president under siege, where the Democrats are, like I said earlier, turning over every rock, trying to find something that they can use to incriminate the president, but yet you hardly hear any Republicans in unison stand up and defend the president. This is lunacy that the Republican Party has basically got duct tape over their mouth.
Well, it's unfortunate a lot of them don't have the backbone and spine to stand up and expose what's going on and to debate the other side. And because what they're afraid of is if they do that, then they may lose votes out there, and it's all about them getting reelected. And this will come back. And I had this conversation with some people the other day. We need to get back to term limits for the House and the Senate. And we need to be there on those. That these people, they're there for a couple terms to do things for this country that's right for this country. That's not what's right for them and for their, billfold and pocketbook and their future.
When you mention that, though, whether you're at a lunch or a dinner meeting, whatever the case might be, about term limits and really trying to expand on that and get it pushed through, what are people saying about it?
It's funny that most of the time when I bring it up, most people agree with me, Zeb. And but they're not. Unfortunately, they're not pushing the politicians as much as they should, and it's because they don't want to have somebody attacking them. And we got to get everybody to stand up and do the right things for this country.
Absolutely. Dave, I thank you for all your kindness and your good words and always being there for us on Wednesdays to share your thoughts on politics. Outstanding author, The Devil at My Doorstep, The Devil at Our Doorstep, and, of course, great businessman. Dave Bego, God bless you, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me on, and you have a great birthday today.
I am going to work on it. Thank you very much. God bless you. It's already a great birthday to the extent that during the 9 o'clock news, I've got to tell the audience this. My wife walked in with a great big, freshly cut piece of her world-famous, world championship zucchini bread. I have only had a chance to nibble at the corners, and it is phenomenal. So that's the way to celebrate a birthday right there. I want to remind you, too, about some more of our great friends, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I was there yesterday, as I said I would be, and they went to work on me, Nick Greenwell and all the great physical therapists over there. And if you're aching and paining and trying to recoup from a surgery or an accident, I urge you to stop in, make an appointment, stop in and let them help you get back to being you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. And they're located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. They are the best with all the exercises and the only hydrotherapy pool of its kind in the entire area. You call them today, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Real quick, too, we got the governor coming on in just a moment. I want to remind you about our friends over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, and they're having what's called a great big fall clearance. No money down, no interest for 12 months on approved credit. Whoa! And also ask about their low price guarantee. I'm talking window coverings, 40% off. I'm talking a mattress closeout, up to 60% off. I'm talking all the new furniture coming in to beautify and comfortize your home. You'd better stop in today and talk to the professionals, and that includes Jeff and the entire staff at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, 459 Overland in Burley. You take it upon yourself to get in the car right now and get over to Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Our friends also at Let's Ride, look at outside. looking outside at that blue sky, and then look at the changing colors of the leaves and the trees and everything, you got to get up in the mountains and enjoy the great Idaho scenery. And be sure and stop over to Let's Ride at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They've got all the four-wheelers. They've got all the side-by-sides. They've got everything, a showroom packed with fun. And I urge you also to check out all the accessories. And don't forget, the 2020 models are arriving right now, and they're giving you special discount deals on the 2019s. Well, you can't beat that with a stick. You better get over there today. The accessories, great service department, all at Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and this is, of course, where the fun is sold. Absolutely. One quick note again, Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, they're all teamed up to help you with a new home comfort system and the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox, featuring remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere at any time. I urge you, because Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new home comfort system. Get comfy. Call our friends Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or go on the website at ramseysonline.com. Let me check with my itty-bitty buddy over across the river and through the woods. Is the governor ready to go?
Yes, sir, he is.
My goodness, I am impressed. Governor Brad Little, how are you?
I'm great, Zeb. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful. It's nice to have you back on the program. We haven't talked for a long time.
Well, I always want to get back at the ranch. This will just have to do. Since I'm not back at my ranch, I'll be at yours. So.
You know, speaking of that, Brad, you've done such a great job as governor, and I'm very proud of many of the things that you are supporting. That article that was in the Idaho Farm Bureau magazine, it kind of gave a lot of personal insight as to you as the stockman, you as the rancher, not so much as the governor. That was a real personalized article. I like that.
Oh yeah, well it was nice to go out to the ranch to do the interview, and of course most of the cattle are up in the mountains right now. David, our son, shipped one of the bunches the other day. I haven't even heard how they did, but I know that we're having a good fall up there, and I think, as is everybody else all around the state of Idaho, we're a little dry this summer, but a lot of the country's had big rain. I know the potato farmers in eastern part of the state, they had a little too much rain there, but they're back digging spuds now, so they're getting along fine.
Okay, let me lead into a subject that is not settled. I don't see any real answers to it, and I'm sure you probably have many thoughts on it. The Medicaid issue with the funding and how it corresponds with our budget, etc. Bring us up to speed as to how we're going to cover Medicaid costs for the state of Idaho.
Well, Zeb, when the legislature, we appropriated the money, which will get us through till July 1 of 2020, the first 6 months of Medicaid. That's already taken care of. We know we're going to have significant savings in corrections because it'll pay for, instead of the state paying for some of our inmates, we'll only be paying 10% of it instead of 100%. And so there's savings there. There's some other programs at Health and Welfare that the state, all the state taxpayers have been paying for that Medicaid will pick up. But there'll be some left after all that's said and done. We don't know how many people are going to sign up. We've got a pretty sophisticated guess, but in some of the other states, they haven't been as accurate as I would have preferred. What we did for this year, for 2020, for the first 6 months of 2020, was we went out and took some of the millennial money, which is settlement money on the tobacco lawsuit. If we harvest all the savings and we use millennial money and Chairman Wood, Fred Wood, and I have talked about this a lot. I think that's going to cover most of it, but we won't know until people start signing up. So that's and then the counties are going to they're going to have somewhat of a windfall, because what they were paying in the catastrophic fees is going to go down. So if we harvest all those savings that we're talking about, in essence, the general fund, the taxpayers' money, Idaho, there won't be any, if maybe a little bit, but hardly any money going to Medicaid.
Let me ask you this, Governor. With the increase every year of the population of the state of Idaho, many, many, many people wanting to come here and live, aren't we going to be looking at this Medicaid issue as far as funding as a perpetual problem that's going to go on every single year?
Yes, your analysis is right, but one of the things that the new director, my new director of Health and Welfare, but Health and Welfare was doing it before, is that we'll have better managed Medicaid. If you're an Idaho citizen that qualifies for Medicaid, if you've got diabetes or hypertension or whatever it might be, the better we manage that, the better, the lower the cost of the state. So I will ask Health and Welfare and everyone else to continue to be more efficient with those limited dollars to pay for that, and that includes the old Medicaid people, the people that were already on Medicaid. So I believe with managed Medicaid, that cost will probably go up, but I don't want it to go up astronomically like it has a few times in the past.
There's been a firestorm of criticism about asking for and requiring a work-related job proof for Medicaid for those that are able-bodied, and it seems like the left is coming and clawing out of the woodwork saying, oh, you can't force people to go to work. And I guess in layman's terminology, I would say this. I've had to work through all my injuries and everything else all through my life to pay my own way. What's wrong with people that are able-bodied to help support Medicaid if they're able-bodied and can have a job?
I don't disagree with you at all, and I think the work requirement that was embedded into the Medicaid bill that the last session passed, there might be some problems with that, but that doesn't mean we can't come back and work with the other states. We've got provisions on unemployment to where it only lasts for a certain period of time. We've got provisions on food stamps that only last a certain amount of time. We don't want to create another gap, but for me, what's important to me is that we have incentives for people to work and not disincentives for them not to work. That's the most important thing to me, is that we not create a situation to where it's better for an individual and their family to not work and collect more Medicaid, and that's something you have to be continually vigilant about. That a rule here or a procedure here creates a perverse incentive for somebody to not work, and we will continue to work on that.
Do you feel that in this next legislative session, in just a matter of a few months, that this Medicaid issue can be resolved and come up with a formulated plan to where, and this is highly unlikely, everybody's happy?
To have everybody happy about everything is a pretty high bar to get across. But I know the people of Idaho quite well. And I think that when we start this session, and then we'll know more, the unknowns. We'll know, who the clients are that sign up for Medicaid. Any new insurance program usually has a spike in cost the first year or two, because people haven't been getting some procedure done, and all of a sudden they've got insurance, and it gets done. So I think we can anticipate that the cost the first and maybe even the second year might be high, but we need to work to make sure that we've got the right incentive for people to be on the program. And the other thing that's really important that you and I have talked about before, Zeb, is the fact that we have more affordable private insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That the state-based plans, that we have a landing pad for people on Medicaid to be able to afford insurance when they get off of Medicaid. And I think that's a very important part of this perplexing problem.
Absolutely. I want to shift gears a little bit, if I may, and go into another subject that's near and dear to me, and it also makes me very frustrated and, quite frankly, mad, is the denigration by many in the state against our education system. I have a son and daughter that are both very highly qualified in everything that they learned in high school and college, went on to be professionals in their fields. I'm very proud of them. I don't think Idaho has to take a back seat, and this continual slamming of Idaho educators and the education system. What are your thoughts?
I'm all in. I couldn't agree with you more. I was up in Rathdrum last week and gave the award for the Idaho Teacher of the Year, and to see her students and her fellow educators and how much the community appreciated her. We just don't do enough of that. Where you hear a lot of this negativism is what we spend. Well, we don't spend in Idaho on roads, on prisons, on lots and lots of things, what they do in other states. It's outputs that matter. It's what kind of an education are these kids getting? What are they... one of my big passions is we have a lot of good things going on in school, but we still got too many kids that can't read at the end of the third grade. And I've told the legislature and I've told the public, if we're going to spend half our tax money on education, we darn sure better be getting these kids to read.
Absolutely.
So that's a big priority for me and for our task force, our kids, Idaho's future. But I agree. We have... on a per student, and we got a lot of students. We've got a lot more young families in other states. So student spending, we always rank pretty low because we've got a lot of students relative to the side of the state. We've got bigger families than most states, and so that means there's going to be more students. But outcomes, in essence, how kids are prepared when they graduate from high school, what kind of skills have they got. We are making progress there, but when you put $1 into the first grade or kindergarten, it takes a long time to get that out the other end of the pipeline. And so some of the new modernization we've done, it takes a little while for that to show up at the end of the pipeline, but I've spent enough time with trustees, with superintendents, with teachers, with students. There's a lot of good work going on in Idaho.
Absolutely. Governor, we have a caller with a comment, and I'm going to ask the caller, please, to keep your time very short. I'm limited on time. Good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Well, I read an article, Governor, about little vows to fight for salmon populations. Does that include breaching the dams, sir? Okay, and then what are we going to do about managing the forests that are Idaho-controlled? Because we can't seem to get anything done managing the forests for the Forest Service. And then the president of Boise State, Marlene Trump, and her social agenda is totally against what Idaho's about. I'll hang up.
Wow, you've got a lot to respond to, Governor. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got. Let me start by talking about salmon. Everybody wants to restore salmon in Idaho, but I've told the Salmon Working Group that breaching the dams is not on the table. We spent a lot of money in Idaho. The state of Idaho, Fish and Game, the federal government, the Bonneville Power Administration, an enormous amount of money in different salmon projects. We continue to kind of tweak how we run those dams. We don't take them out, but, what kind of a flow do we have at that critical period when we're trying to get those smolts back downstream? Those are the things that I've asked the salmon task force to address. I had a report from the chair of that committee yesterday, and they're making good progress. As far as the forest, tomorrow I'm speaking at the Western Governors Association, a meeting they're having here in Boise, and we actually have, and Governor Otter started this, private land in Idaho for the most part is managed, particularly private timberland, whether it be a small landowner or a large landowner. They're managed for sustainability and for forest health. Our state lands are very well managed. The issue that everybody knows is the amount of Forest Service land. Well, when Governor Otter was involved with the Western Governors, we started a program nationwide that is called the Good Neighbor, where the state of Idaho goes in on Forest Service ground that really needs better management. There's bug kills, it's too thick, it's a fire hazard, and we do forest health projects there to really lower the risk of fire, increase wildlife habitat, protect watershed. The problem is there's a lot of Forest Service ground, and we don't have very many sawmills in Idaho. We don't have enough sawmills to address all of them, so we're building sawmill capacity. I'd love to see a sawmill back in the Salmon area. We've got a new one in Emmett, in my hometown, but we need to continue to build capacity so we can better manage those federal lands. We think there's about 4 or 5 million acres of federal forest land that through Good Neighbor and shared stewardship, the state will step up. We'll hire the foresters, and we'll do these forest health projects, and that's going to make a big, big, big difference. And a lot of states, interesting, last year, Zeb, just about, a little later than this. Remember when the big fires were burning in California?
Absolutely.
They were calling the state of Idaho up saying, what's this Good Neighbor? What's this shared stewardship? Because, they've got all this mismanaged forested ground down there, and they were interested in what we were doing here in Idaho. We got a long way to go, and it's not going to be a panacea, but most of the silviculturalists, most of the forest health experts, they're all in on it. We're not going to clear cut all the forest. We're very concerned about improving and enhancing wildlife and watershed habitat. But out of frustration that the federal government couldn't get anything done, the state of Idaho is raising their hand up and saying, we'll do it, and we'll do a better job. And so I'm very proud of Governor Otter started it, and I've done a lot of work on it. The Department of Lands, the legislature's been very supportive. And then as far as the last questions about President Trump, I think some of the reporting on that, I don't think we shouldn't have special programs. But one of the things, and President Trump is a first-generation college student. She's from Green River over in Wyoming. And I am all about programs that inspire kids and families that haven't gone to college to go on to college. And we've got when I was up at the University of Idaho at commencement last year, they had the animal science celebration afterwards. The colleges get together, the different groups get together. I think but we're always conscious that the main goal of higher education is to provide opportunities for all Idahoans, including those that haven't gone to school before. And we're increasing our rate, but it's not as fast as I'd like to see it. But of course, one of the things that Boise State does not do, and it's not in their role, is career technical. And of course, you're blessed that you're close to CSI, and a lot of the needs in the Magic Valley. They have a brand new 4-year food processing degree to where all those new big plants, whether it's an older potato or cheese plant, or Chobani or Clip Bars or any of those other plants, we can create the kind of skills out of there, starting at the high schools, starting at Murtaugh, starting at Kimberly, and then go on and get a exposure at CSI to where we can continue to have the Magic Valley be one of the best places to work and put in new modern plants, and that's real important to me.
Governor, I think I would say on behalf of the caller, and again, your criticism of me I will accept if you need to, but a lot of times with these different diversity programs, they cause much more division within the state and within populations, and that's my biggest concern about division, not just diversity. That's my concern.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more, and I also think we shouldn't be exclusionary. And but that's I spend quite a bit of time on college campuses, and college kids are college kids. I went to school right after the Vietnam War, and frankly, the college campuses look a lot better now than they did when I was there in 1972. So.
Well, you're just a kid compared to me because I was way back in college in the 60s, so I guess I'm showing some age there.
The middle 70s, college campuses were, to me, they're a lot more civil now than they were back then. There was a lot more, at the end of the Vietnam War, there were a lot of revolutionary things taking place, and we should be pretty proud of most of those institutions, but I agree with you that we shouldn't be exclusionary. We ought to be inclusive.
Let me ask you real quick, Governor. I've only got about a minute and a half left in this segment, but looking ahead to the legislative session in January, what other major topics do you think that Idaho is going to have to address and try to finalize in the upcoming session?
Well, we're so much better off than I spend some time talking to the other governors and other states. From a budgetary standpoint, I talked about Medicaid, and I don't think that's going to be a high hurdle, but because it's a new program, it should be debated, and I look forward to that. Obviously, education funding. As far as education, the legislature supported my increase for starting teacher pay. We have a lot of educators that have been out doing the hard work for a long time, that have been there for a long time in their districts and haven't been a big increase in compensation. We ought to address part of that. We call that the next rung in the career ladder. Obviously, literacy is going to be very important to me. The other issue, the two things that have been the drains on the budget have been corrections and Medicaid. I talked about managed Medicaid. We have got to have programs on our penal institutions to where they don't just come in, go out, and then come back in, to where we stop the recidivism. And we're going to have a new work center in the Magic Valley to where we give these people the skills to where when they go home, because 90-some% of our incarcerated population is going to go home, that they are productive members of society, and that's a good investment for Idaho to do that, to where those people can be productive members of society.
Absolutely. Idaho's 33rd governor, Governor Brad Little, and I urge you that if you happen to drive down Highway 30, stop in at the ranch, see us. We'd love to have you here. God's blessings, and please come back and see us again on the radio. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Zeb.
God bless. Thank you very much. Governor Brad Little, and I thank him for taking the time to come on the program this morning and sharing with us thoughts on education and water issues and also Medicaid funding, etc. We're going to try to have him on a more frequent basis, if you will, and set it up so we can maybe every other Wednesday maybe get him on the air. So there you go. Holy smokes, Wheels is looking at the clock saying, Zeb, where is the weather? Well, it's coming up. And the weather's brought to you by Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning. The list goes on and on. They are there to serve you, your family, and your business. With offices in Burley and Rupert, remember Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday, and we are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. High of 56 tonight, nice and clear, going to be cooler, low of 29. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 63 with an overnight low of 34. By Friday, going to be cooler, more clouds moving into the valley. High of 57 with an overnight low of 30. Then by Saturday, looks like sunny skies and 80. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb.
Oh, my. Thank you, Gina. Appreciate that. And the weather brought to you by our friends, Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. They just really help. They can sit down and help you get through all of your problems with taxes and business consulting ideas, etc. Please give them a call. They've got offices at 1710 Overland in Burley, 878-7000, and at 620 5th Street in Rupert, 436-5607. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. Really good folks. What have we got coming up this next hour? I'll quickly tell you that we're going to have a gentleman on that was 40 years as a career pharmacist, and his name is Salvatore Giorgiani, and I hope I said that name halfway close. He is going to be discussing about the high cost of prescription drugs and what can or cannot be done about it. That's coming up. And then at 10:30 this morning, of course, we have representative from Seat 25A, Lori Likely, on the program. Want to remind you, too, about our friends over at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, yes, for you and the protection of your family and your business, all the life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, they are absolutely dedicated and very responsive to your needs. I urge you to give them a call. Really, you start the ball rolling down the alley, and they'll help you at 436-4424. That number again, 436-4424. Remember, the best serving you, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Really, really good people. One last word, too, quickly, as I choke to death. Lennox, along with Ramsey Heating and Electric, teaming up to offer $1,600, up to $1,600 in rebates on a new home comfort system. Check it out, the iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat. You can have a remote control access and adjust the home's temperature from anywhere. Check it out today. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459 or go online, ramseysonline.com. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Got to run to the news next from CBS. We'll be back in 7. Wheels, take it away. Well, there was a whole bunch of delusion, confusion in that story. Morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, and brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big fall tire sale going on right now. Stop in and see them today. Along with some of our other advertisers, including Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, and they're located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Want to remind you about what's going to go on this Saturday at Mad River Laser at 502 East Street in Rupert. Holy cow, Nicole said that every first Saturday of the month through the winter months, they're going to have a big sale every first Saturday of the month. And this coming Saturday, October 5th, is the first Saturday of October. They're going to have a great big gift shop sale. You better get over there at 502 East Street in Rupert and check out all the fall decor decor marked down, including their Halloween and Thanksgiving home decor. And check out all the decor candles. Home decor candles will include free matches with candle purchase. You better stop in at a store that was proudly voted Best Unique Gift Shop 3 years running, Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert, this Saturday for their great big gift shop sale, okay? Don't forget, too, the Bennett Boys auction service. I want to remind you about that. Stand by. The Bennett Boys are going to, excuse me, I just had a piece of zucchini bread. Shouldn't have done that. Bennett Boys are going to have a great big sale this coming Saturday, October 5th, the R.E. and Mildred Ledbetter Estate Auction. It's going to be right there in Kimberly, smack dab in the middle at 313 Main Street North, starting time at 10:30 a.m. And boy, I've known the Ledbetter family. They are excellent wood crafts people, and they've got all the wood shop equipment, shop tools, shop supplies, machine shop items, furniture, household collectibles, lawn and garden items. Woo! The list goes on. This is going to be a ripping good sale. The R.E. and Mildred Ledbetter Estate Auction, 10:30 Saturday morning in Kimberly at 313 Main Street North, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. Absolutely. Right now, let's go to the phone line. And I've never had this gentleman on my program before. He has spent 40 years as a career pharmacist and would like to tell us more about why in the world drugs are so high and so expensive. And we say good morning to Dr. Salvatore Giorgiani. I hope I said that halfway close.
Boy, good morning. You said that absolutely perfect. Good morning. How are you?
I am good, and I so appreciate your coming on the program this morning. I hope you don't mind if I call you Dr. G, do you?
Dr. G or Dr. Sal? Yeah, it's Dr. Giorgiani's a bit of a mouthful, so sure, Dr. Sal's fine.
I appreciate that. 40 years as a pharmacist, and you've seen a lot of changes, and not all so good with the prescription drugs going sky high. Why? Why have prescription drugs got to this point?
Well, you know, I think we're all concerned about the price of prescription drugs. Over the decades, the advancements in the technology are amazing, and I think we tend to look at these things as tablets and capsules and liquids, but really when you look at them, they are high-tech. And when I counsel patients, I used to do it at one of the Air Force bases for the Department of Defense, I always remind folks that these are really high-tech products. It costs, when I was a young guy, it cost about $200,000 to $300,000 to prosecute a new drug application. Now, to get a new drug approved, the estimates are $2.6 billion with a B. So even if that's $1.3 billion with a B, that's an awful lot of money to invest in a tablet or capsule. And it's kind of the same price that you would expect to develop for a spaceship. So really, these are high tech. The other component to this is the high failure rate of products that go into the mix. Only about 15, some people say 20% of drug products that go in, actually end up out of the system. So there's a very high failure rate. And then when you look at that, only about 60% actually recoup their investment costs. So part of the dilemma we face is that it becomes more and more difficult to shoot at more and more esoteric, more and more difficult, more and more difficult conditions such as cancer. I think we have a lot of drugs for diabetes and a lot of drugs for high blood pressure and epilepsy and things like that. But now we're shooting at targets using genetically developed drug products, and those are inherently more expensive. The administration has tried to, and lots of people are tried to wrestle in the cost of drug products. And when I was a young guy, there weren't such things as pharmacy management companies, PBMs. Now they're everywhere. And their promise was that they were going to make billing easier, and that they were going to eventually be able to negotiate good prices on drug products. And this all started in the 70s. I actually worked in a community pharmacy in New York City, right by the Guggenheim Museum there. But the reality is that something happened on the way to through the process. Instead of them negotiating good prices and passing along the savings that they were able to negotiate in both volume discounts and concessions and a thing called rebate, where the manufacturer would give the PBM money back based on volume concessions, that money was all supposed to go back to the consumer. And that promise didn't get fulfilled. So something happened on the way back to the consumer, and that is that the PBM started keeping the money.
Mm-hmm.
So sure, they did hold the line on drug pricing because of good old-fashioned negotiating, which I'm all in favor of. I think most people are in favor of. It's a contract. It's a good. It's an important good. But the promise that they made to return the money didn't happen. The other thing that we see happening now is that there's no incentive for the PBMs really to pull back because they get paid one way or the other. They get paid a fee for prosecuting the prescription. They get paid a rebate amount of money. So I won't say that the entire fault is the pharmacy benefit management companies or the insurance companies, which now own several of the PBMs or have intertwining relationships with them. But I think the problem lies mutually with prescribers not being aware of the costs of what they're prescribing, with pharmaceutical manufacturers delving into more and more technically complex areas and requiring or requesting premium pricing for those products, those high-tech products, and the PBMs and insurance companies are not doing what they promised. So, you have a very, very complex system.
Dr. Sal, let me ask you this, and it's more of a statement than it is a question. I firmly believe that where we're at right now with the high cost of pharmaceutical products, pills, medicines, for especially the elderly, not being able to afford it. I know that my wife and I, due to some health issues, both of us are spending right at about $1,150 a month. There are many people that are not able to afford that, and we're almost creating a hemlock society to where they're just told basically to go die. This is absolutely unacceptable to me.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why Men's Health Network, which I'm calling to represent in this discussion, which is an advocacy group for the health of men and boys, understands that prescription drug costs have to be reasonable and they have to be tagged. We endorse the companies that have good and helpful programs to write off some of the product costs, and companies have patient assistance programs and had those for a long, long time available to many patients. We support those wholeheartedly. We support negotiation for prices. One of the things the Trump administration wants to do is they want to set a pricing board where there would be a pricing czar. And the pricing czar would set the price for drugs in America based on the price in foreign countries anywhere. We don't know where, Europe or Asia or Latin America. We don't know. And we think that certainly you need to have some controls and some good common sense negotiations, but we don't think that a government price-setting board is the way to accomplish the goal. The other thing that Men's Health Network is worried about is that a lot of the ways that the insurance companies, which are for-profit entities, have instituted changes, it's to cause patients to not have good contact with their physicians. The solution, I think, is an amalgam of good negotiation, an amalgam of reasonable access to newer technologies, and these patient assistant programs that I think pharmaceutical companies have all the time. One of the dilemmas is that physicians don't like engaging in those. It takes a little bit of paperwork on their part to get a patient qualified for free medicines. But, boy, patients should speak up. They should ask. They should inquire both of the physician and the pharmaceutical companies. And, yes, there are second-tier, third-tier drugs, which I think if they simply cannot afford the higher technology products, there's always something that they can get. It may not be, the ultimate, but there is something that every patient can get.
Yeah. I have made no bones about it on my program, Dr. Sal, and I will not change my mind that I will go toe-to-toe with anybody that gets on my program and advocates for a single-payer type insurance program for all the United States and its citizenry. I maintain that would be absolutely the end of medicine and care for our seniors, even on down to our infants, and especially with the high cost of pharmaceutical products. I think it would spell, like I mentioned a moment ago, a beginning to a hemlock society that would never go away. Do you agree with me or disagree with me?
Yeah, single payer is a very bad idea. That's why I'm perplexed when I see health professional associations every now and then saying, yeah, we need single payer. You know, we have done this experiment in government intervention and price setting over and over and over again in lots of business sectors. And it never seems to work. It never seems to work. And we've seen, and everybody knows about many of the storied problems, unfortunately, with the wonderful veterans out there who served their country very well and for lots of years, and many of them have medical problems associated with their service. And we've seen innumerable problems with access, quality of care, resolution of conflicts or problems. And I think that anybody who believes that giving all of that authority to one entity, particularly the federal government, God bless, would solve these problems is forgetting the lessons of history and not looking at current contemporary issues in healthcare, like in the VA.
Absolutely. A couple of years ago, Dr. Sal, I experienced another series of surgeries. And after the surgeries were over, they had advocated that I should take some opioids to treat pain. I would not and did not, and I even remember specifically a nurse at that time telling me, if you don't really need to take these, don't start, because sometimes they're very hard to get off of. Which leads me to ask you this. How did the opioid situation in this country get so severe and nobody said anything until it was too late?
Well, listen, I trained a long time ago in the 1970s. And actually, I started pharmacy school in 1969, 68 maybe even. I can't remember. My goodness. You have medicine for that, I suppose. But anyway, one of the first experiments we did was we gave injections of central nervous system drugs, things like opiates and cocaine and other things to animal models to see how they performed. And I made up my mind then and there that these drugs are stronger than anything that you can will. So I don't think my training was unique. I went to a great school, Columbia University in New York City, but I don't think my training was unique. So every health professional understands the problems with opiates. I do think part of it is there was a move in the 1990s, fostered by various professional groups, that created the fifth vital sign, which was pain, and there was a huge push by many professional associations in nursing, primarily, but also in medicine, and then also the need to satisfy patients to get good ratings and patient satisfaction for insurance and federal reimbursement, that you were taught to keep patients pain-free, even though you are also taught that that medicines that relieve pain are addictive. So a lot of physicians were caught in a terrible quandary. I think that they did not pay attention to their basic pharmacology, and they let this prescribing get out of hand. There are always some bad players, and I won't address those, but I do think that we as a society, too, are enwrapped in the notion of a pill for every ill, rather than doing what you did, which was not take the medicine, and you lived, I suppose, and you seem to be doing quite well. No one wants to see anyone suffering. So I think there are some simple guidelines, 3 days' worth of opiates, and then moving back down to a non-opiate, something like heavy doses of Aleve or Celebrex or some other non-addictive medication probably would do you very well. Also, I think one thing that would help is better coverage for physical therapy, for acupuncture,
absolutely,
for therapy,
yep,
for osteopathic manipulation, and chiropractic. That also would help people with chronic disease who simply have no alternatives. So we can't have it both ways. We can't restrict non-medicine or pain and expect people that just suffer with chronic pain. So, it's a very, very complicated thing, but I think a lot of it is social expectation that people shouldn't be uncomfortable.
Dr. Sal, I want to go back on the Monopoly board here just a couple of jumps, and I want you to address another issue that I firmly believe is true. Tell me if I'm wrong. But by the possibility of going to a single-payer insurance program for America that the left and the Democrats are pushing, I believe that would stymie and almost throw to a complete halt research for medicines and research for all the diseases. I think it's going to cut down on research money going to the various schools and various students. Am I wrong in my thinking that single payer would cut down on a bunch of what we need for research on cancer or whatever the drugs or diseases?
Yeah, I also believe that. Many others smarter than me also believe that. And it's not just on the medication side. It's also in the surgery side, in the device side, in the orthopedic appliance side, in the quality of care side. When you have a single payer, they've got to cut somewhere to make their mandated margins, and you have no negotiating, power, and you can't go. If you're not satisfied, you can't go anyplace else. So I do think it would cut down on a huge range of innovations and access. I also think that the ability to get health care in your community and locale, we all complain about issues with people who can't travel or have to travel long distances to get to a good hospital facility or a good specialist physician or, wherever they want to go. That also would be curtailed dramatically. And we've seen that with the VA. I know in your area of the country, that's probably the case for a lot of your listeners. It's a long trip to go see a specialist, and that's a hardship. So I do think it would not only cut down on research into medicines, and it would slow innovation or freeze it completely, but also in so many other things in healthcare that we really need.
Absolutely. Final thoughts here. You are the senior science advisor to the Men's Health Network. Now, give us a little explanation of what that means and what you do.
I give them advice, and I speak for them. The Men's Health Network is the oldest and largest education and advocacy organization that covers comprehensive issues of healthcare for boys, men, and their family. Men's Health Network's slogan is, we like to bring health and education and information to men where they live, work, play, and pray. You can find an awful lot of great information. You can find some free handouts that can be given at the website, which is Men's Health Network, one word, menshealthnetwork.org. And we have been in existence. This is our 25th year. And we are very, very, very proud of the work that we've done to help men and boys get better health.
Let me ask you this. Do you think in today's society that men and fathers and their boys, etc., are more cognizant of keeping up and maintaining their health, or are many just letting it slip by and not concerned with it?
I think it's a generational issue. One of the issues that Men's Health Network has fought for long and hard are commercial advertisers looking to give messages to boys and men, and media and radio to do programs for men and boys that emphasize the fact that health care is as much a man's obligation to his family as a woman's obligation. There's a misperception that women are the individuals who make health decisions for the family, and I think that is downright unfortunate and needs to change. When you look at when I see some of the younger individuals I deal with, they have a much more holistic and appropriate view as guys starting families than some of the older folks in their late 30s and on into their older years, the golden years, I would say. But I do think that there's a long way to go before men actually take a page out of the women's health book, which is to advocate, speak up, and take action for their own health and the health of their families.
Absolutely. You know, I absolutely want you to come back in the future. I've enjoyed our conversation. This gentleman is the senior science advisor to the Men's Health Network, and I'm going to say his name, and I'm going to get through it this time 2 times in a row. Dr. Salvatore Giorgiani. How's that?
Man, you're great, and I hope you enjoy your next slice of zucchini bread.
Believe me, I will. God bless you, man. Thank you so much for being on the program.
You have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Dr. Salvatore Giorgiani, and he was listening. I was eating my zucchini bread, and maybe he was watching it on camera. I forgot to turn off the camera on the website. And I was crunching and munching away, I'll tell you that for sure. Don't forget our friends at Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living. I really urge you, if you're not aware of it, I want you to stop over and take a look. Call first, ask for an appointment time, and maybe if you're a caregiver for some seniors and you need to take a few days or weeks to be out of town, just call Matt and Kelly Wiggins over at Greystone Crossing. And with their wonderful home environment, this would be the answer for your seniors to stay there while you're gone. All you need to do is call them at 208-650-4979. I mean, they provide 3 wonderful meals a day and snacks and housekeeping and local transportation if they need to go someplace. This is the place. What a wonderful environment, and I say every day, seniors living the good life with friends, and that's exactly the truth at Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Heyburn. We are going to send it back over to Wheels right now, and we're going to take a listen to the break at the bottom of the hour and come back with Representative from District 25, Seat A, Republican Lori Likely. Don't go away.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb.
Oh, my. We're on the home stretch, last half hour of Zeb at the Ranch on this Wednesday, October 2. And I want to remind you, too, about your electronics headquarters, and that's Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley. Curtis and Lorena, just simply put, are the nicest people to work with, and I urge you to stop in and see them for all your television needs. Samsung, Sony, Toshiba, LG TVs. They've got, along with all the TVs, they've got home theater systems, all the surveillance cameras, car stereos and speakers, complete sound systems. What are you waiting for? They're open Monday through Saturday 9 to 6, and I urge you to stop in and see our friends. Curtis and Lorena at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley, or give them a call at 678-6997. I have tried over the years to make sure that we get all of our legislative personnel on our program, and I have been at fault for not having this lady on my show prior to this. She went to her first legislative session last year, and I can't wait to hear what she thought of it. Representative from District 25, Seat A, Republican Lori Likely, good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning, Zeb, and happy birthday. Thank you for having me on, and I look forward to visiting with you this morning.
How in the world did you know it was my birthday?
Well, I might have listened into the governor's segment, about 45 minutes ago.
Well, I thank you very much. That's very kind of you. And I'm going to go back to my original statement in the introduction that you went to your first legislative session and really got your boots in the puddle, if you will. What did you think of it? What did you learn? And what do you think you want to get involved in again this year?
Oh, that's a great question, and one, Zeb, that I've been asked many times since Steiny died back in April. I think for me, this legislative session really was a study of how to effectuate, positive processes, procedures, how to navigate differing personalities, and really, how to put forward solid public policy. It's, to me, just much like I've lived my life and served my industry and my family, it's about developing relationships and figuring out how to make Idaho as good 10 and 20 years down the road as it has been for me and my family. I'm honored to serve, and I was excited to get through the first session. And while I'm not sure about living away from home 3 months out of the year, I'm looking forward to representing the people in the next legislative session.
You know, Lori, I'd be amiss if I didn't ask this, and I'm very blunt about certain issues, but when a freshman legislator goes to the first session, did you notice any kind of a arm twisting or pressure, hey, do this for us or do this for us? Is it hard to overcome that and still stay on your own path?
The answer, I think the simple answer, Zeb, to that question is no. We are not pressured to vote one way or the other. It's interesting to me as we talk to the legislators that have been there for many years, those that have served in the past years, the senators across the rotunda, the gentleman on the second floor and his staff, and so forth. It's about working together to come forward with solid public policy. And no, if you ask somebody to give their thoughts on a specific issue or a specific legislation, and they give you those thoughts, I'm also known to ask them what's the opposition going to say to that, and they'll give you that information too. I don't think I had a single instance, Zeb, where somebody made me, vote on a certain issue, in a way that I wasn't comfortable with. We really navigated and looked at each piece of legislation on its own merit, and I always tie back whatever decision I make. I tie it back to the Magic Valley. I tie it back to, is it going to make stronger roots? Is it going to protect our ag and our natural resource industries? Will it protect Idaho's sovereignty over its water? Will it make stronger families? Are we really doing everything that we can, within our budgetary restraints to look at education, access to affordable health care, mental illness? Are we having those conversations? And then really tying it back to stronger communities. How are we going to support our rural communities across the Magic Valley and across Idaho? What are we doing for our infrastructure needs? How are we balancing our urban and our rural growth? Those are the questions that I ask myself each and every time I look at a piece of legislation. And I think it's really critical for folks to know that we will never be experts in all areas. But, folks like me really do try to surround ourselves with those that are experts in those areas and bring them into our personal board of directors so that we can rely on them to give us the information we need to make the best decisions on your behalf.
Very well stated. Lori, let me ask you this, for the audience in your constituency, what committees were you on, and which ones are the most prominent that you enjoy the most working with?
Yes, and I think it's important to know that, we do serve on certain committees, and therefore a lot of our time, or most of our time, really does focus in those areas. And I was asked to serve on health and welfare under the leadership of Dr. and Representative Fred Wood, and I also serve on resources and conservation under the leadership of Representative Mark Gibbs, and then also serve on environment, energy, and technology, which didn't see a lot of legislation come through it last year. But I would say that, as your conversations have kind of directed a bit this morning, we wrapped up a lot of time in health and welfare this year on Medicaid expansion and how to implement what the voters asked us to do last November. So my focus really is in those areas. But again, we really do have to have walking knowledge of many other issues across southern Idaho and across Idaho. But really focused, I try to dive deep into those areas that my committees look at.
Well, I'll ask you the same thing that Governor Little and myself were talking about, and you said you overheard the conversation. I have maintained on this program that Medicaid and the implementation of it, it's going to be a little tough to get all the funding, because I said to the governor about every year you're going to be looking at possibly a recurrent problem on funding with more of the populace moving to the state of Idaho. How would you answer that?
Well, I would echo a bit of what the governor says. I know there's been some recent press out about the counties having to foot the bill, but I kind of look at it as where are we going to see some of the savings for Medicaid expansion? And, I think it's important to note that 58% of Twin Falls County and 57% of Jerome County, went to the ballot and went to the polls and supported Medicaid expansion. And I think that was a directive to us, regardless of my personal opinion on how that was done, to make that happen. And I think we're going to see some savings. Quite frankly, of the waivers that we're going to request from central Medicaid and Medicaid Medicare services out of our federal partners. The 5 waivers that are going to come forward, quite frankly, I really think the only one that is going to get accepted is the mental health waiver. I don't think we're going to see our work requirements accepted. I don't think that we're going to see, in fact, we've already been declined at the 100 to 138% of poverty folks that are currently on the exchange, that they are going to be absorbed into Medicaid. So back to your question of how we're going to fund it, I think we're going to see some savings. I think we're going to be able to continue to utilize some of the Millennial Fund, again, which is the tobacco money. I think we may see some opioid money coming into the state of Idaho. Of course, with all of Big Pharma and so forth filing bankruptcy, we'll see whether that those monies actually filter back into the states. I know that we will redo and look at some of the catastrophic funding into the counties, and I think the indigent funding in these counties will really. I think they're going to have to fine-tune that just a little bit. And if those folks that are applying for indigent, have the ability to be on Medicaid, then those are going to be denied. So I think we're going to see some savings. There's been a lot of speculation that it's going to come down on property taxes. That simply, in my opinion and from what I'm seeing, is not going to be the case. We cannot continue to put additional pressures on our property owners.
Absolutely. When you hear the moo of a cow on this program, it signifies that we have a caller calling in. Caller, you're on the air with Representative Likely. Go ahead quickly, please.
Yes, the question I have with this Medicaid is we were sold down the idea that we were to get a lot of funding from the U.S. of A. government, and now you're saying that you're going to start tapping on the counties for this. We're already overburdened on this tax business because of this housing thing. And there was a program yesterday on the Twin Falls station that we really need to start looking at putting a cap on this on the taxes that we've already got. So I don't know where you're thinking that the counties can keep affording all of this stuff. And I'll hang up. I am mobile, so. Thanks so very much.
All right, caller. And Lori, please respond to that caller's question. Thank you.
Well, some great comments, and perhaps I wasn't perfectly clear. I don't think, and quite frankly, I doubt we see any residual impact on current property tax for Medicaid expansion. I just don't see that. The governor has indicated that's not going to be likely, and I don't think our counties can afford to do that. That is what I am seeing. However, that being said, I think we'll be able to utilize some of our savings to the catastrophic fund and the indigent fund, which ultimately do come back to the counties, but we're going to see more of those people be into the Medicaid population. I think we're going to see some of those millennial funds. I think we're going to see, the federal government's component of this Medicaid expansion is 90%. So of the $480 million cost of Medicaid expansion, our component of that is $42 to $45 million. And I think we're going to realize we're going to be able to fund through some of that. There's the savings that we're seeing in mental health. We're going to see some of the savings of the indigent and the catastrophic funding. I really think that it's a big number. Yes, it is, and it's going to be challenging, but it will not come back. As long as I have a seat at the table, it will not come back to our county property.
Lori, I want to shift gears in the time remaining. I've got about 6 minutes left, and I want you, as a person that knows more than most about the beef industry and agriculture, having basically been in it all your life, there is a concentrated effort from the left, and let's call a spade, the Democratic Party and their possible nominees, to really change agriculture in America and also to deplete the beef industry and basically willing the American public not to eat beef, etc. What are your thoughts on what's going on with the transitioning and thinking away from American agriculture?
Well, I find it quite frightening, Deb. I think one thing we all have to remember that we have in common is the fact that we have to eat every single day. And it's those of us in agriculture that provide the food and fiber to sustain the entire world. That has got to be made perfectly clear. And in the state of Idaho, Idaho's beef industry is the number 2 contributor to this state's economy. And our public lands and our partnerships across the board continue to make those economic differences. And I would challenge those that challenge us to come, let's have a conversation. Let's sit around this table and let's talk about the simple, basic necessities of life: food, shelter, and clothing. The food and fiber that make up the entire United States and the entire nation. And, I'm bothered by that. I will tell you that along those lines, I'm going to be looking at, either running some legislation or some sort of a resolution this year to really kind of put some teeth into the cell-cultured meat that appears to be making its move with Memphis Meats out of California and taking a small part of our beef animal and actually growing a hamburger, a steak in a lab. We're going to direct FDA and USDA to come down on that. But back to your question about the Democratic candidates, they are so far removed from agriculture that it is frightening. And if we don't get another 4 years of Trump and we get one of those in office, it's going to be a very frightening day.
But, Lori, the problem is exacerbated right through the school systems. And I'm going to be very blunt again. We have very liberalized teaching in our school systems from the left coast all the way to the right coast, starting with kindergarten going all the way through the university system. And these kids absolutely think anyone that works in the soil or raises cattle, they are derogatory and hurting the environment. How do we change that mindset?
Well, I think it starts with a conversation and changing the narrative, Zeb. I think we've got to, I'm not sure that, in Idaho our schools are seeing bad. We've got very strong FFA and career and technical programs, throughout our educational institutions in Idaho. And I think that narrative is solid and firm, and I'm pretty excited about the direction of that. I think we've got to continue to put our resources and give our young people the ability in FFA and 4-H to tell our message. Those are the groups that are going to resonate with those that are protesting climate change. They are going to be the groups that are able to sit at the table with those that are talking about our environment. They are going to be the ones that are sitting at the table talking about nutritional benefits of high-quality protein like beef. We have really got to continue to work with our teachers. We've got to continue to work with our FFA programs and our extension programs to really help share the message of Idaho agriculture. And I think that it starts with parents, and I think it starts with our solid 4-H and FFA and our CTE classes. We can change the narrative, but we've got to have a seat at the table. And Bill, are you willing to do it diplomatically and civilly? Zeb, I'm bothered by this polarization, and I think if we can bring the reasonable people to the table to have the conversation about what's best for our lands, what's best for our kiddos in our rural communities, that we can come forward with real solutions about how important agriculture and these rural communities and these lands are to our future.
Lori, I've only got 2 minutes left, so I'm going to ask you to keep this answer very short if you would. I'm out of time, but I wanted to talk to you quickly about education like I did with Governor Little. I maintain that our education in the state of Idaho for our kids, my boy, my daughter, they came from very small high schools and went on to college and graduated and became very, very professional young adults. I maintain that our education does not have to take a back seat, and like some of the commercials that were put on television about dropping kids off a school bus in a wasteland, that is absolutely inappropriate. What are your thoughts?
I think we've got to continue to focus on the family, Zeb, and that most data and statistics show that some of the most critical time period in child's development is from 0 to 3 years old. You give me those kiddos from 0 to 3, we teach them to read, we hold them, we love them, we show them compassion, we let them explore, and then let's get them, and then they will be ready to read. Then we implement early educational systems, early literacy. But we've got to let our kiddos be kiddos, and we've got to engage from the 0 to 3, and parents have got to step up to be parents.
Absolutely. Well, now you can take a deep breath and go, whoo, I'm glad that's over. Republican Representative, Idaho District 25, Seat A, Lori Likely. You got to promise now to come back in the future. I've enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely, Zeb. I appreciate the opportunity. And again, I hope you enjoy your zucchini bread and your birthday.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm out the door in about 5 minutes, and I'm going to have a bigger slice. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, take care. Representative, Idaho District 25A, and that's Lori Likely. Very, very nice lady and very knowledgeable, and I appreciate all of her comments. Holy moly, we've got to get to the weather. Yeah, I know, Wheels, I'm running late again. Our weather, of course, brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the entire crew. Man, these are really, really good people at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Now, go to their website and take a look at all the meats available, whether it's the pork ribs or the tri-tips or whether it's all the different bacons or whether it's the sausages or my favorite, the bratwurst. You're going to love it. So please, scarrowmeats.com. Scarrows Meats in Jerome, 324-7657. And now here's Gina with the weather.
Here's a look at your weather forecast for this Wednesday, and we are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. High of 56 tonight, nice and clear, going to be cooler, low of 29. Tomorrow, sunny skies, high of 63 with an overnight low of 34. By Friday, going to be cooler, more clouds moving into the valley. High of 57 with an overnight low of 30. Then by Saturday, looks like sunny skies and 80. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Oh, thank you, Gina. Appreciate that. And, of course, Don Scarrow and his excellent folks over there at Scarrows Meats serving you at 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call and find out more, 324-7657. All the delicious meats, and they are changing the way we eat. Yep, one delicious bite at a time at Scarrows Meats. I am going to be gone tomorrow, and the wonderful, lovely Sharon Hardy, whoops, I almost did it, Sharon Wilmot, I got it corrected. She will be filling in for me tomorrow. I think if she ever gets that vehicle fixed and she's off the side of the road, and she'll be filling in tomorrow on Thursday's program. Caller, I've got exactly 1 minute. Go ahead, please.
Well, I was, concerned a little about the governor's answer on Marlene Trump, because I'm sure he understood what I meant with her social agenda, and helping people to go to school is great, but having LGBTQ bathrooms in the student union building and all the other stuff that she wants to do, I didn't hear him answer it. And then on this board, on the Saving the Salmon, there's nobody on there that's on our side hardly. Fred Wood, I think, is on that board, and he may be the only one that you and I could trust. And so the governor sounds, pretty down to earth and everything. But I tell you what, I guess we're going to, not me, but hopefully we can get him on the air again some more and pin him down, because, and ask him about Idaho Power and what the hell they're doing.
I'm chuckling because had I more time, believe me, that's going to be on the next segment. I've got it already written down, Randy, to get more finalization of remarks on that subject. No, I appreciate what you say and your call and your question and everything, but there's a lot of things. And if we have the governor on more of a frequent basis, that's how things are solved and that's how things are directed. I'll say the same for all politicians. But I will not, and you know you've heard me say this, I am not going to chase after each and every one of them like a dog after a parked car. Some have been asked many, many times to come on the program, and they will not. In this case and in this circumstance, it was very congenial and copacetic that his staff and my staff, we got together and selected a date, and all is well. And I promise we'll have him back on to answer more questions.
Well, maybe every month?
Well, I'm going to try. I'm not going to pin myself down. You know me better than that. But I'm going to try my best. If I can make it bi-weekly, I'd sure like to. And right now, I've got to run and get a commercial in because I'm running late. But I promise I'll get him back on soon. Thank you.
See ya.
All right, buddy. Don't forget our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, with a big fall tire sale going on right now. You know, doing the right thing since 1952. Your Les Schwab Tire Centers, and right here in the Valley, we've got 7 outstanding centers for you to go in for the best in tires, all the sizes, all the tread design, and of course, don't forget the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, all of this and more, with the best in service. They really take care of you. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. Yes, sirree, Bob, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I want to take just a moment to say thank you to all the people that called with well wishes for a happy birthday today. I am going to have a happy birthday, and I thank you much for all the kind remarks. We are going to have Sharon fill in for us tomorrow on Zeb at the Ranch, and we'll be back on Monday at 8:06, where we always say the way things were or the way things ought to be, and best of all, in God we trust. We'll see you Monday at 8:06.